Hello learners, welcome back to the course on AI in Human Resource Management. Today we move to the last lecture of Module 6 where we look into disruptive innovations. When we talk about AI, is it a disruptive innovation? Let's understand it on the basis of the future of HRM, the future of Human Resource Management. I am Dr. Abraham Sirlaisek. I'm an assistant professor at the School of Business, Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati. Now, when you look into disruptive innovations or many a time we hear this term disruptions within the industry. What do you mean by disruptive innovation? Disruptive innovation is something which changes the industry altogether. There has been some routine way of doing things or some routine way of executing some aspects. Suddenly there is some technology that is coming in and it drastically changes the entire industry. This is what a disruptive technology is. We have seen it with the advent of computers or maybe internet. It has been happening for some time now. Now, let's examine whether this AI is going to be a disruptive innovation. Now, for that, we'll look into AI, the impact of AI specifically. When we understand it as a disruption, or is it actually a disruption, or it is just a precursor of something else. But for that, let's first understand what do you mean specifically by a disruptive innovation. When you talk about disruptive innovation, it is, as I mentioned, a technology which refers to innovations that replace the existing technologies. When you talk about, if I have to define disruptive innovation, it is nothing but it begins with simple applications at the lower end of the market and gradually moves upward. And if I have to credit this, I have to credit this to Christensen, who introduced the term in the book, The Innovator's Dilemma. If you have read the book, the disruptive technology actually gets the reference from there. So he differentiates between sustaining and disruptive technology. So disruptive technology refers to innovations that replace the existing technologies. Christensen goes further. He emphasizes that current changes and innovations are rooted in technology. So companies can lose market leadership even when following best practices if they fail to embrace the disruptive technology. So it is not the traditional wisdom that says that you have the best practices, you'll survive, but rather if you're not adapting yourselves to the newer technology that is coming in front of you, you may actually collapse as a company. So research shows that organizations react to disruption by adjusting their resources, processes and culture. Now, when you look into the disruptive technology in HRM particularly, you will see that human capital is considered as a differentiator. Human capital is considered as a differentiator. So many a time what we understand human capital or human resources as a crucial asset for organizations, providing a very competitive edge that is hard for competitors to actually replicate. So managing human capital effectively is essentially for driving growth in the era of technological disruption. When you talk about specifically human-centric development, human-centric growth, we tend to understand technology in HRM, which will be seen in further slides also. But I would like to specify on this EHRM part. The adoption of electronic human resource management, EHRM, allows for improved control over employee performance and behavior through technology. So EHRM transforms the typical HR functions, making it more strategic, more efficient and aligned with the organizational goals. When we look into HR competency in technology, we'll see that HR professionals need new skill set. They include innovative reasoning, as you can see. They include data analytics, design thinking, technological competency, all these aspects specifically to adapt to disruptive technology. So these skills enable the HR to contribute strategically to business outcomes. When we talk about technology, disruptive technology specifically in HRM, we have to also understand the strategic role of technology. The integration of technology into HR practices typically helps reduce the operational cost. It improves recruitment and retention. Please note, recruitment and retention, this is vital, because otherwise you are going to incur a lot of recruitment costs. So it enhances overall service delivery also. So please note, you're talking about the disruptive technology in HRM as a strategic role, as a strategic aspect. When you look into outcomes of EHRM, specifically the EHRM which I introduced you to in the previous slide, organizations typically implementing EHRM achieve better operational efficiency, improved communication, and definitely strategic impact. So technology adoption in HR, in human resource management also leads to increased responsiveness, increased service quality, as we have seen, positively influencing the organizational performance. We also have an impact on organizational performance. The use of technology in HR not only enhances HR processes, but also drives overall business performance by enabling the virtual relationships, reducing typical handouts, reducing the headcount, enhancing decision making through data driven insights. So these are some of the critical aspects we have to ponder over when you are looking into disruptive technology in human resource management. Now let's look into impact of HR AI. We have extensively discussed about HR AI, specifically the impact of AI specifically in HR with respect to different domains. Let's understand it on a more detailed fashion. We have touched upon it in the previous modules. We'll try to enhance our understanding today by looking into impact of AI in HR specifically, whereby we'll try to understand what has AI done or what is AI contributing in the field of human resource management. Specifically, we talk about recruitment, we talk about performance management, bias reduction, AI-driven coaching. Let's understand that deeply. Now, when you look into recruitment, we have seen that there has been a significant impact of AI in recruitment. AI tools typically streamline automating tasks like screening, like sourcing, and even to a certain extent interview scheduling. We have seen how AI is instrumental in interview scheduling. So these tools help reduce bias and improve the decision making by analyzing large chunks of data, large volumes of data, including public profiles, candidate videos, to identify the best fit for the job. Ultimately, we want the right candidate in the right place, and this is where AI aids or facilitates the recruitment process. When you talk about performance management, AI can enhance performance management. AI can enhance performance management by providing real-time feedback, continuous performance reviews, and automated recognition or intervention. So this typically improves employee motivation and ensures timely rewards or corrective actions, typically based on performance. When we look into coaching, what is the relevance of AI-driven coaching? We have seen in the previous modules, it is all about increasingly being used to provide real-time, on-the-spot coaching for managers, particularly in leadership, in soft skills development, many other topics, specifically wherever the need is. So tools like Butterfly.ai offer personalized coaching and helps managers to improve their leadership capabilities. So if you have time, I will try to suggest you to explore the different possibilities, different tools that are involved in AI-driven coaching. Now let's look into bias reduction. Specifically, we have categorically established that there is a possibility of bias that exists when the human element comes into picture. When you look into AI helps eliminate human bias in various HR processes such as recruitment, such as performance assessments, by relying on data and algorithms rather than mere subjective judgment. So this is where you are becoming more objective with the help of AI. Now, when you look into the impact of AI Specifically, you have to also understand the possibility of having administrative tasks being automated. AI can automate routine HR tasks, let's say something like scheduling meetings, something like transcribing calls, and even managing employee databases. So, all these are otherwise mundane activity, mundane administrative tasks, which can be automated, improving the operational efficiency and definitely freeing HR professionals to focus on more strategic tasks. We also see that AI has had its impact on data-driven HR strategy. AI transforms raw data into actionable insights, enabling the HR leaders to make informed decisions and to align all the HR practices with broader organizational goals. So, this typically enhances the strategic role of HR in business decision making. We have a typical role of AI in legal and compliance work also. We have touched upon it in the previous module also. We see that AI tools assist HR departments with legal tasks. Let's say something like document discovery, or maybe contract management for that matter, or some compliance checks for that matter. So, these tools significantly reduce the time and effort required for legal processes, enhancing accuracy and efficiency. When you talk about impact of HRAI, we cannot ignore the typical talent retention and development. We look into AI, it helps in talent management by identifying potential issues early, ensuring that the employee satisfaction is there. It gives more opportunities for personal growth through personalized learning and development programs. This is yet another important thing. We should also not forget that the impact of HRAI is very critical in cost and time efficiency. By automating and optimizing the HR processes, AI reduces the administrative costs involved. We have seen this, and it saves time. That's the biggest advantage that AI has brought in, allowing HR teams to focus on value-adding activities or strategic tasks, as I already mentioned, like employee engagement, strategic planning, etc. Now, let's look into a more critical aspect, which is impact of robots in HRM. When we look into robots, like let's say we'll go case by case. In case of recruitment, robots like Matilda are being used to conduct interviews, assess emotions, and determine the cultural fit for candidates, particularly if they are in the sales positions or related jobs. So, this enhances efficiency in recruitment and helps reduce biases in the selection process. You also have some chatbots for HR support, chatbots, AI powered virtual assistants. We have these chatbots increasingly used to answer HR related queries, provide personalized responses, and help with talent acquisition. Let's take an example. The Intel's HR assistant, Ivy, answers questions about pay and benefits, it gives feedback, it improves through machine learning. You also have the possibility of automation because of these robots. You see that robots help digitize various HR tasks, be it onboarding, be it employee recognition, be it coaching. Let's take an example of the tools like Tala, handles onboarding, or Growbot, which manages social recognition, simplifying the workflows and improving productivity. We also have the impact of cobots. Cobots are collaborative robots. I repeat, they are collaborative robots. Cobots are robots designed to work alongside humans in shared workspaces. So, you look into these robots, they assist with repetitive, mundane tasks, they reduce the workload and increase efficiency, especially in production environments specific to the spaces or places where there are a large chunk of activities being categorized at repetitive or as mundane. So, cobots are affordable, they are adaptable, and certainly they enhance the collaboration between human workers and machines to a great extent. So what we see here with respect to the impacts of robots in HRM is specifically with respect to recruitment, automation, cobots, chatbots. We continue this discussion. We see that in workplace harassment monitoring, the robots play a significant role. Robots are used in coordination with HR professionals specifically to monitor workplace communications and detect potential harassment or inappropriate behavior. So, right from starting from a mail detection or email detection to all the possible communication, behavioral exchanges or transactions, all these aspects are being monitored, especially with respect to the potential harassment or any possibility of inappropriate behavior. So, these systems typically help maintain a healthy organizational culture by flagging unacceptable interactions. We also have, the enhancement of employee communication. When you look into robots, these robots facilitate smoother communication within organizations. They provide a digital platform for employees to report misconduct or to typically ask questions, improving the access to HR services and increasing the transparency. You also have some of the critical relevance with respect to the future of robots in management. When you talk about the future of robots in management, please do understand that experts in research suggest that in the near future, robots will take on more analytical decision making tasks. So, right now, what we see them, as we have discussed, are more in the repetitive, mundane tasks. But going ahead, robots will take on more analytical decision making tasks, requiring the HR professionals and managers to prepare for a future where humans and AI work closely together. However, please note that humans will continue to excel in, let's say, maybe areas like creativity, areas like emotional intelligence, areas like critical problem solving. So, all these, I don't feel that the human beings are going to get replaced anytime sooner. When you look into the impact of robots in HRM, we have also to understand the productivity and cost efficiency parameter. By automating the routine tasks and reducing the human error, there is no denying the fact that robots in HRM enhance overall efficiency, freeing HR professionals to focus on more strategic responsibilities. Now, let's look into the impact of networks on HRM. We look into the networking aspect mainly because we see human resource management as an outcome of a collaborative function. There cannot be an individual leading the human resource platform. There is always a team that should be involved. There's always a sync. There's always a cohesion of employees. So, when you talk about human resource management itself, it is all about the collaboration. It's all about the cooperation. The moment there is individualistic goals coming into picture, the moment you keep your personalized goals above the organizational objectives, you move ahead, you go tangential to the objectives of the organization or the goals of the organization, or you stand away from the strategic intent, I don't feel that human resource management is going to exist. So, this is where the relevance of networks come into picture. Now, let's look into networks from the spirit of AI and technology. Let's look into the learning and development digital platforms. Let's understand the possible networks that are included in the career development. Let's understand the collaboration and the power of knowledge sharing in detail. When you look into the leadership and development via digital platforms, you have to understand that when you look into the social network, so when you look into the learning and development via digital platforms, you have to essentially understand the possibility of social networks. Social learning, e-learning, collaboration tools enable continuous and personalized learning, enhancing employee skill development. You look into the possibility of career development. You see that social networks for recruitment are critical. HR professionals use social networking platforms. Let's say we all see that people are using LinkedIn, Facebook to screen job applicants. Even after a shortlisting or screening, Mainly your social media handles are being taken and being verified or monitored for your performance or maybe your ideology or the how and when or why you react to a particular situation. So, a lot of behavioral analysis happens with respect to your social media posts, your social media interactions, transactions, etc. So, please note LinkedIn provides a professional resume like view of candidates, while Facebook offers insights into personal traits, helping recruiters to assess the culture fit. So nowadays, even if you are shortlisted, the selection will have more of scrutiny than in the earlier days because of this availability of social media handles. You also look into the impact of networks. We have to understand the continuous learning that is happening through digital platforms like what we have seen. Companies integrate learning into business processes, often linking it with performance management. So, social learning, e-learning, as we have seen, or collaboration tools enable continuous and personalized learning, enhancing the employee skill development. So, typically, the networks support continuous learning through digital content, micro learning through, let's say, short, focused sessions, videos, etc., and macro learning, broader in-depth training. So something what you are undertaking is a part of that. Employees benefit from self-directed and spaced learning opportunities, asynchronous learning opportunities which are tailored to their preferences and career goals. We look into the impact of networks on HRM. We have to understand the importance of that in career development. We look into employers who can analyze employee skills and performance using networks to understand their career preferences. So this typically enables the organization to offer personalized career paths and growth opportunities, helping the employees pursue the self-directed careers within and outside the company. You also have a critical element of collaboration and knowledge sharing that comes through the networks. When you look into social networks, it enhances the communication, no doubt about it. It enhances the collaboration within the organization. Tools like, let's say, blogs, the RSS feeds or internal social platforms, they all promote the knowledge sharing, they all promote the interaction and empowerment among the employees. We see that as part of the impact of networks on HRM, there is a possibility of this being very critical in terms of employee engagement. Networks foster better communication by creating informal teams and encouraging interaction, which helps in employee engagement and builds a very collaborative teamwork or collaborative work environment. Let's take an example and understand it. Let's say using social media to facilitate informal teamwork and improve customers' relationship management for that matter. We also have to understand the employee-centric learning, how the networks enhance the employee-centric learning. When you look into the digital networks that bring learning closer to employees, what do you use now, what you are doing now, making it more personalized and accessible. So employees can participate in learning on demand, which typically aligns with the personal development needs and organizational goals. Now, let's understand the implications of these disruptive technologies very quickly. When you look into the technology, as technology evolves, you will see that businesses across sectors must also adapt quickly to digitization and automation that is going across the globe. So, this shift typically demands organizations to incorporate advanced digital systems and to streamline operations to stay typically competitive. You look into disruptive technology, it enhances business continuity, helping organizations remain, the resilience they have in uncertain environment, volatile environment. Companies must typically prioritize agility, as the ability to quickly adapt to sudden changes is crucial for survival. With the rise of Industry 4.0, with the rise of Industry 4.0, HR functions will definitely evolve, becoming more specialized and data driven. So the routine tasks can be automated through chatbots or AI driven systems, allowing HR professionals to focus on strategic and high impact activities, as we have already seen. If you look into the skill, the demand for new skill sets is increasing. Employees typically must continuously learn and adapt with a focus on a mix of soft skills, technical expertise, and digital proficiency. So, you talk about agility, you talk about adaptability, and the ability to work with evolving technologies. They are all becoming critical competencies. As we have seen, the robots and automation take over routine tasks, mundane tasks. There is, we cannot deny that, there is a concern about job displacement, with some jobs potentially being replaced by machines. So this creates the need for reskilling, need for upskilling the workforce to prepare them for greater roles or new roles in the digital economy. We look into the integration of disruptive technology. It introduces challenges related to the privacy issues, data privacy particularly, problems with surveillance and security. So organizations must address these concerns by implementing strong data protection measures and maintaining trust with their workforce. And workers may experience frustration. Let us be very honest. We are all workers at some other point, and we see this. We experience frustration and resistance due to the unfamiliarity with the new systems. You are basically attending this course to get some familiarity about these systems. So frustration is a common outcome. Open communication, training, and support from HR leaders are essential to help employees adapt positively to technology changes. So when you look into future of HRM, we see that there are possibilities of integration of disruptive technology, strategic role of HR managers. We will understand it from the empirical research on technology's impact. We'll see it from the horizon of new skill sets that are required. We'll look it from the point of view of reorganization of HR departments, and even in the next slide, we'll look into the employee relations and technology. So when you look into the future of HRM, you look into technologies like AI, robotics, and networks that will transform the HRM processes from, let's say, recruitment and training to employee engagement and performance management. So HR departments will need to adopt these tools to streamline operations and enhance the decision making. We look into the future of HRM, we see the strategic role of HR managers. HR managers are not going to go anywhere. Please note, HR managers will evolve into strategic partners, playing a vital role in aligning HR practices with business goals. So their influence on organizational outcomes will increase as they become more involved in strategic planning and talent management. When you look into, let's say, the technology's impact and, let's say, empirical research on that, most of the studies show that there is a critical impact of AI, or specifically technology, on HR. And future research will focus on the measurable impact of disruptive technology. Disruptive technologies on HR practices, employee relations, and organizational performance. So this will provide insights into how technology can optimize the HR functions. When you look into the future of HRM, we have to also see the possibility of new skill sets for HR professionals. Talk about HR professionals who will need to acquire new competencies, including, let's say, technological proficiency, data analytics, and even change management skills to effectively implement and manage disruptive technologies in the workplace. There's a possibility of reorganization of HR departments also that may happen, as technology transforms HR processes. The structure of HR departments may need to change. Future research could explore whether traditional HR models, which we were always focusing on, will be replaced by more tech-driven, agile teams that can better support digital transformation. And finally, with the rise of automation, employee relations and technology will also have an effect. With the rise of automation and AI in HR process, we see that understanding the impact of these technologies on employee relations and engagement will be vital. HR managers must manage the balance between human interaction and technology-driven solutions. So what we typically understand from the disruptive technology, or this session particularly, is that AI is making some of the vital impact, or AI is bringing some of the critical changes in the HRM domain. But that said, as I've already discussed, how HRM tries to integrate the technology, that becomes relevant. Please note that there could be situations where the human element is taken out just to showcase more efficiency or performance. But that said, human element is always required because of the sensitivity it can produce. Machines and machine learning algorithms might not be able to develop that level of sensitivity which otherwise is required for every single person associated with the human resource management domain. So that's all from today's session. We'll deal with more significant aspects of AI in HRM in the coming modules. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.